So I have been given permission by the Halifax Sport and Boxing Club to come onto the car park and just film the bridge that was slightly beyond the Lee Bank Tunnel. Now I am actually walking along a section of the track bed that carried on up towards Ovenden Station. So this car park here, you can see where the line kind of ran. This is going back towards Lee Bank. So in part 5 of the Ovenden Junction line, we'll be continuing where we left off in part 4 at the bridge at Broad Tree Road. We'll be making our way along towards Ovenden Station via the mills and taking a look at the history around the mills before heading towards Ovenden Station. Now we have been given permission by majority of landowners between these sections, especially down at the Ovenden Station, where we're going to get the experience of visiting the inside of the old station building. So I'm at the north side of where the Lee Bank Tunnel would have emerged out onto the, like a slight cut-in. There you can just see the cut-in in the back there. And the bridge that I mentioned that's been infilled must have been blocked off by the landowner. Now, this was, by the looks of it, the 12th structure on the line. You can clearly see it's built out of old stone. And this is one of my favourite things. There we go, Department for Transport. And I think that stands for Halifax High Level, Ovenden. And it's bridge number 12. So this is a look from the other side. Now the main bridge that carries the road over, this is Broad Tree Street, I think. Just under, there is a change of masonry with a bit of red brick underneath, and you can actually still see a lot of soot. I'm not sure if you can just make it out. It's quite foggy today. And there is what looks like some drainage pipes and some steel supports underneath that supports the bridge up on the abutments. And just to go into a little bit more detail, looks like you've got more drainage holes. You've got one, you've got a couple down here, and there's a couple more just up there. I think they are drainage holes. And there's a few more to the right of me here. And this is just a look back up down the cutting. So the line emerged out of Lee Bank Tunnel just down there and made its way through this bridge going towards Ovenden Station. Up there you can see the massive retaining wall that carries the A road. It goes towards Shea Lane, which kind of runs parallel to the line towards Homefield. Now this looks like it was a cut-in. I wonder if there was another side here that's been demolished. I'm not sure if there was some here. Now this does widen. Now this is interesting. Looks like the brook that we've been following went underneath the mill. And that is our flow that went down towards that culvert that you saw just down near the Lee Mills. So the route of the line carried on through this car park. Now there are multiple businesses around here, so I have been asking permission from all the owners of the businesses to come on, and they've been very appreciative of the work that I'm doing, so they've let me come on. So the line did just venture along through these pallets here. They told me to be careful. So just better be careful over here. And we're into a section here where you can see more retaining walls, and I'm guessing that's obviously to support the road up there with the houses that's been built on. And just in the distance I can see what remains of Ovenden Station. So just here, got a little bit of work going on. This was the route of the line, so you clearly see it's all overgrown. And we're coming up to something that looks interesting, and it's a bridge So literally, if I just come down here, I don't want to go down there too far, but you can just see the flow of that beck. Now this is actually known as Ovenden Beck. This section between Northbridge and Holmfield was actually planned as a single line track. Eventually they actually did build it as a double line. Now I've had a look at the maps and there was actually a bridge that was here. It has been demolished and you can see up there, you can see the remainder of the bridge just behind those trees and the abutments that are here. Now I'm not sure when it was actually demolished. It would have been quite high up. But the bridge, I'm guessing it was a stone bridge because it's made out of the same masonry. And then just behind this fence here, which looks like a boundary towards the owner of Ovenden Station, which is our next part of the venture on the video. Now I've been told that these buildings were original buildings for old mills that were around here, and then these buildings to the left were built at a later date. And apparently, so just a little correction here, the building to the left where you can see is where the original buildings were. Now the Leisure Club to the right where I pointed out was an original building, wasn't actually there as you can see on the map. Now also on this photograph, which also relates to what you can see on the map, you can see where the railway line passes the mill, but you can clearly see on the right where the leisure centre is. The building isn't there. I've just been given permission to come into the mill just across from where I've just been, and if you just have a look at this picture here, you can just see there where the railway passes across. Now that section on the photo is the mill that I'm actually in now, but that wasn't built. Now you can see the rest of the buildings just here on the left, which I was walking past when I took you up towards that bridge. See where the railway goes, and then in the background there are some buildings, some old mill buildings that are still there, which I'm going to show you. Ladyship Mills in West Yorkshire once was one of the country's most important textile mills. Height of the stand-even business, 700 people were employed at Ladyship Mill, working through the entire process, from drawing to spinning, weaving and finishing. On the 15th of October 1926, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince Edward, visited Stand-even to meet with the employees, and he was presented with 2 specially woven suit lengths. So you can see a lot of the buildings, these were original to that photograph that I just showed you. And this was the later built building, which you could see in that photograph with the railway going past. I've been told that along a section of the mills back in the day, you had about 60,000 workers in total that worked in the mills. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to move more northwards past where the mills were towards Ovenden Station. So just walking north of the mills, the track bed you can just see down there, which has all been overtaken towards Ovenden Station. Now we are approaching Ovenden Station, and I have been given permission by the owner to go on, and there's something really interesting, and there's going to be some interesting features that we're going to see. And before we get there was some access, I believe there were access into the station on this side anyway, coming up on the left, and I think it was just down the side of the station house. So you've got the station house on the left here. Now you can just see here this hole in the wall. Now I believe this is where station access was, because if you look at the photo, the stairs do lead down by the side of the old station building. So I'm currently at the site of Ovenden Station, and I've been given permission by the owner, who have not been here that long, to come and have a look around the site and show you what still remains, because there are some quite interesting features. So before we do actually look around, I'll give you a little bit of history on the station. So obviously it did serve the village of Ovenden, but it wasn't deemed to have a really fancy station. So it was wise to build it out of timber. So it was actually made of wood, and obviously it was owned by the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway and the Great Northern Railway. So obviously they deemed it not important to have a nice railway station. Now the station building which is also built out of timber, which is the only remaining building apart from the station house and a platform is still left. Now I have got permission to actually go inside because there are some original features that are in the building. Well, this is the original station building. See, it's made of wood. The station house now, which is currently under new ownership. So the track bed would have been on the other side of this station building. So I'm just going to take you back a little bit. So this would have been our track bed on approach to the station. There would have been a platform on this side as well. The track bed would have literally ran right through here. Now, its original company was the Halifax and Ovenden Junction Railway, and it opened on the 2nd of June in 1881. The station fully closed to both passengers and freight traffic in the 23rd of May in 1955. So this station has not been in operation since 1955. So we've just headed slightly northwards, and here you can see there's still a platform that remains after all these years of non-operation. But they've kept this stone platform, so whoever the previous owners were, they've kept the platform. Like I say, it was a double line track, so you would have been looking at the railways going right through here. Now the beck that ran adjacent to the line is just behind the platform, which is that same beck which I showed you down towards the mills, or Ovenden Beck. I'm stood on the platform right here. Now, I'm not sure what these are. It says enclosed, but I'm not sure if that's anything to do with the railway. It probably is. I did think it was the original station sign at one point. So there is a photograph taken from this spot, and it must have been from this platform, because you can see the station building in the house and the station house in the background. So I'll see if I can fade this picture in. Now, I was told that there was an original train wagon here. I was led to believe it was a train, but I think it was just the wagon part of the train. And I think that this is it. Looks like an old train carriage. Yeah, I think this was it. Now, it looks like this was a loading carriage, I think. Like it was made of old steel on the outside. It looks really rusty and old, but yeah, it looks like an old railway carriage. Goodness knows how old that one is. You can see the door locks there. Got a few old fence posts on the side of the platform. Now I think this is something more recent, but down here looks like there was some kind of well, it looks to me like it was a fireplace. But I wonder if it was, I think it was something to do with some piping system. Now you can see here, a really old rusted part of it there. I wonder if there was part of a door or an insulator. There is a pipe that runs up the side there, and this is an old stone retaining wall on the side of Old Lane. If this was just some kind of piping system, drainage, there's some more recent pipe work here. And just here, looks like there's a piece of old original metal there, and it is embedded in. Now I've just headed back towards where the mills were, so it's still on the land of the Ovenden Junction Railway. So just on the other side of where that bridge was, where, if you remember when I was at the mills where we found that demolished bridge, now on the land where the Ovenden Station was, the owners have still kept some memorabilia. Now I believe this would have been here for a long time. So this is the other side of that bridge, if you do remember when I said it crossed over here. Now there was a bridge here, because it does say on the maps, but it looks like we've got a lot of the remains of the bridge on either side, all down here. I'm not sure when it was demolished. I'm assuming probably in the 70s with all the rest of the structures, but there is a lot of stonework that's still left of the bridge. I'm just walking on a lot of it now, and there's quite a lot piled up. Big stone blocks here. Obviously it's fenced off to mark the boundary towards the mills, and obviously then it entered into a cutting, or a little mini cutting, going towards the station. And like I've just shown you the beck that ran from the mill, the Ovenden beck, and it curves off here to the right. It looks absolutely brilliant from here, the beck. It runs adjacent to where the station was. But you can just see up there how much retaining wall still there, and it must have, like I say, been a cutting, because you can see the blast in the rocks. So this is actually going back towards the Ovenden Station, northbound towards Oldfield. There's a clearer shot of the beck. Here's where the train would have been going north and southbound, all reclaimed. Put the station buildings, and it looks like we may have the remains of the other platform. Now I've just headed slightly more north of the station, so it's just back there from where I've walked, and just here you've got this building, which I was told was built in around the 70s. It's like a storage building, and it heads towards a bridge that's just slightly beyond where the station was. That bridge is behind there now. Doesn't look like we can get to it, but there are a few pictures that are taken from on top of the bridge. Just behind there you can see maybe the top of the bridge, but I'll go up there and show you what it looks like. So I believe that this was the inquiry window, because it still actually says inquiries on the window. So I'm guessing that passengers would have come here to collect the tickets and inquired. And if we take a look inside at the current state, now obviously the current owners have not been here that long, and there are a few rooms in here that I'm going to just have a look at. So this looks like it was potentially one of the waiting rooms, because there is a fireplace that's just down here, original fireplace. Now majority of this building is all original interior, so like I say, it was made of wood. The only structure that's still left, because all these stone buildings were demolished apart from the station house. I believe that this would have been where the clerks would have been working, sat here to obviously sell the tickets. So it would make sense, because the windows are here, and with it saying inquiries, I'm guessing that's what that was. And this would have just been their little cosy working room. So it's obviously painted green, but yes, nicely made of wood. And a couple of waiting areas, and it would make sense with the fireplaces. So there's one there, and if we just walk through here, there's another room, and just in the background there you can see like a door, so I'm guessing that's where passengers would have gone out to go on to the platforms for the trains. And then just in here there was looks like it was another waiting room, because we've got another fireplace here, again with all original features on the inside. That would have been looking out onto the platform. And here, I believe this would have probably been a toilet area. Now there is a toilet in there. I don't think it's an original toilet, but there is a cubicle. Again with the original wooden. That would have been probably a viewing out to for passengers to train spot and see where the train was arriving. Got a sink here, but again I'm not sure if that's original. It could be. Looks very old, but you know, you could be talking the 50s, well after the opening of the line. Another doorway here out onto the station. You just see it's all rusted, and you've got a couple of photographs that are on the wall showing a photo of the station when it was in operation. You could just see the mill in the background on that photograph that I was down at earlier on. It's absolutely brilliant. So this, ladies and gents, was the Ovenden Station's station building. I'm not sure if this is an original weighing scale to potentially weigh luggage when the line was in operation, or could it just be what the previous owner left behind? Not too sure. Now I just headed slightly northwards behind that block building that you saw. That was at the Ovenden Station, and there's just a view of that bridge which went down towards Old Lane. Got a railway sleeper here that's embedded into the tower. It looks like a railway sleeper, but there you could just see that stone bridge, which is where we're going to continue our adventure in the next episode. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode on the Ovenden Junction line. I really want to send a massive thank you to all the landowners that gave me permission to enter their land to explore the historical sites of the railway. So join me again in the next part. So if you want to see the next part, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to watch part 1, part 2, part 3. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.